What is going on, guys? I'm CodeRed, and today's video is going to be about what For Honor has done wrong. Now, I was going to post a video on what For Honor has done right first, but seeing as this game has been pissing me off a little bit lately, I thought it'd be best to start with this video right here. Firstly, I would like to begin with connectivity issues. A huge number of players have been experiencing various connection issues and error messages that prevent them from joining a game, or it simply kicks them from a game at a random point. Now, I'm not sure if this is something to do with my own internet connection, but seeing as a lot of players are experiencing the same issue, it must be something related to Ubisoft. This takes so much fun out of the game, and this morning when I was attempting to play, I would receive an error message and be kicked from every single game I joined, which was really annoying. This also ties into the fact that there are no dedicated servers. So what For Honor uses is what is known as a peer-to-peer connection. Basically, one person with the best internet connection is the host of each match you join. Many of us have experienced host migration and are constantly having to reconnect to the server and wait for a new host to be allocated. This heavily interrupts the flow of such a high-skilled game, as it could be a vital point in the game when this host migration occurs and you end up losing a 1v1 because of it. There is also the chance that this host will receive an advantage, as they are going to have the best connection in the lobby, which can assist them hugely when reaction time and timing is so important in this game. Dedicated servers would be highly beneficial to this particular game and promote the smooth flow of battle. Maybe once enough people complain about these issues, dedicated servers will be implemented. So moving on to the next thing is the prices of gear and new execution animations. So while searching through the store in For Honor, I noticed the ridiculous pricing of some of the armor and outfits available to each character. The outfit bundles sometimes cost as much as 45,000 steel, which could be equivalent to around $60 of real money that could be spent if you want to unlock it instantly. When you earn sometimes as little as 40 steel a game, this would take hours and hours of grinding until you can finally afford it. Also, as cool as executions are, paying a high price for them is not acceptable. This is another way of getting us to spend all of our steel until we realise that we need more to upgrade our character, forcing us to give in to these stupid microtransactions that are present everywhere in this game. This leads to my next point of addressing microtransactions in general. Although Ubisoft has been praised heavily for the fact that the DLC will be free in this game, what most of us have skipped past is the microtransactions riddled throughout the game. The progression system has been deliberately made extremely slow so that eventually players will get to the point where they feel the need to spend money to unlock something that they have been trying to grind for. We should have known this would happen with Ubisoft, probably the most untrustworthy game developer that ever existed. Therefore, I'm even skeptical about future games such as Ghost Recon Wildlands, so I'll be giving my money to other games who actually deserve it, such as Horizon Zero Dawn when that comes out, because that looks amazing. So yeah, I'm quite annoyed, and I'm sure other players are pretty annoyed as well, that they did decide to put so many microtransactions into this game, and it's not cheap at all. Like I said, the $45,000 outfits pack is worth $60 of real money. $60 is not that's another game you could buy. So yeah, I'm not going to be spending money on this game anytime soon. If I get to the point where I need to spend money, I'll probably just stop playing it altogether, which is a stupid move by Ubisoft. Ubisoft can be commended for actually including a story mode, which in For Honor is basically a big tutorial to prepare you for online gameplay, but is the story even good? No! They basically include a few cutscenes and make you do the same thing every single mission. You start off by watching a few bland cutscenes to give you some background info about what the hell is happening, and then you are pushed into a fight with some enemies until you reach the boss. There are no memorable characters, and even the character you play is easily forgettable, making you as a player feel worthless and insignificant. They should have followed a small story of a significant character from each faction. For example, make the Viking campaign about Ragnar and some of his adventures, giving the game an opportunity to create an intense story that really captures the player's attention. One thing that For Honor really messed up is the friendly fire system. Now in For Honor, friendly fire is allowed, but it's the fact that friendly fire does so little damage is what's stupid about it. You can hit your teammate over and over for a minute straight and they would finally die. The point is, friendly fire damage should be increased significantly to further encourage strategic play among your team. Too many times players encounter 2v1s, 3v1s, and all three of the enemies will just spam attacks, and even though they might hit each other as well, it does no damage at all, so they aren't bothered about it. Imagine if the enemies knew they would deal heavy damage to their teammate if they spammed their attacks. It would force them to maneuver to another angle before attacking the enemy. It will also allow the player being outnumbered to use this to their advantage and possibly take on the 2 or 3 enemies confronting them. Although there have been a few different maps included in the release of For Honor, most of them have a very similar feel about them. It doesn't give the player a sense of variety when playing a different map, as the only difference seems to be the size, so some maps are more confined than others, and then others will give you more space to run around and ambush enemies, but they still have that similar kind of look, you know? I think they should include maps that look very different visually, such as one that has heavy snow falling, maybe your vision's a bit blurred, kind of like, fog in Battlefield 1 or something like that. You could even include like a village filled with farmhouses and then larger guard posts that could represent the zones. Now this links onto the actual game modes in For Honor. So For Honor lacks more strategic kind of game modes. I know the 1v1 and even the 2v2 can be very strategic. Those are excellent for those kinds of things. But I'm talking about like the more larger kind of game modes, such as 4v4, or even like the potential to expand into like a 6v6 or something like that. So I believe there needs to be more of an attack and defend type game modes to promote strategic gameplay. I made a video already about a possible 6v6 idea that I think could work well if implemented, so check that out, or comment any of your ideas in the comments below, because I'd love to see what you guys could come up with. There is so much more they can do with this game, so I'm hoping they will not hold back and prevent it from exploring other options. We all know by now that we have to stay connected to the internet to actually play For Honor, even if you want to play the campaign. So this could pose a pretty huge problem for some of the players who experience connectivity issues or have internet that drops in and out that could prevent them from even playing the story mode. But you don't need to worry, the story is pretty much garbage, so you wouldn't want to play it anyway. But it's still annoying for those players who actually want to give the story a go, or maybe want to learn from the story so they can play better online. Moving on to another small but annoying issue that players have been frustrated over is being pushed off the edges of the map. Now I'm sure we can all relate to this issue. I mean, it's pretty funny most of the time if we're the ones pushing people off the edge, but it can get extremely annoying if it's constantly happening to us and if it's all that the enemy players do. Now I can see how it could be effective and make the game more fun, but some of the characters can push you halfway across the map. Surely you would not be able to lift a knight with heavy armor that far. I think that the push and carry distance should be heavily reduced on characters, because it seems that some players don't even bother fighting. They just push the player back off the edge and get the kill for it. Now I don't think it should be eliminated from the game, because it does force the player to be aware of their surroundings and where they could possibly be pushed off the edge. I think that just the push distance needs to be reduced. One thing I want to quickly add to this video is that For Honor is actually already getting repetitive for the players who are currently playing it. I've played maybe like 6 or 7 hours of online gameplay, maybe even less, and it's starting to feel the same every single game. So if they don't make some of these changes and suggestions I've mentioned, or even other players who have mentioned different things in their videos, then I feel their players are going to slowly drop off and people will stop playing this game within a month. So hopefully Ubisoft listens to actually some of the community and make some of these changes we want. Now that will be all for what For Honor has done wrong. Keep in mind the game is still quite enjoyable to play despite these flaws. So if you would like to see a video on what For Honor did right, then smash that like button or leave a comment about it. I also want to know what you guys think For Honor did wrong. Obviously I have not included everything, so let me know what I missed. That will be all from me, guys. I'm CodeRed and I'll see you in the next video.
It's been a long day without you, friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we